So I want to just give a few quick thoughts on this story. I think it's going to be making the rounds this week. I think a lot of people are going to be talking about it because it's one of those stories. It's one of those stories where you can't help but feel really, really sad and angry and frustrated for basically everyone involved. So let me just introduce you to Jimmy Galligan here. And we're going to look at the New York Times story because all of this has started with the New York Times glorifying cancel culture and putting Jimmy on a pedestal for canceling his classmate in probably one of the most ridiculous ways that I've heard about. They had this story called A Racial Slur, a Viral Video, and a Reckoning. A white high school student withdrew from her chosen college after a 3-second video caused an uproar online. The classmate who shared it publicly has no regrets. Let's just read a couple of the opening paragraphs here. Jimmy Galligan was in a history class last year when his phone buzzed with a message. Once he clicked on it, he found a 3-second video of a white classmate looking into the camera and uttering an anti-black racial slur. The slur, he said, was regularly hurled in classrooms and hallways throughout his years in the Loudoun County School District. He had brought the issue up to his teachers and administrators, but much to his anger and frustration, his complaints had gone nowhere. So he held on to the video, which was sent to him by a friend, and made a decision that would ricochet across Leesburg, Virginia, a town named for an ancestor of the Confederate General Robert E. Lee, and whose school system had fought an order to desegregate for more than a decade after the Supreme Court's landmark ruling. Now, let's just note here that all that happened decades before Jimmy was actually born, okay? I wanted to get her where she would understand the severity of the word, Mr. Galligan, 18, whose mother is black and father is white, said of his classmate who used the slur, Mimi Groves. He tucked the video away, deciding to post it publicly when the time was right. Now, what the New York Times has not yet said in this article is that this video was of that student singing a song, singing along to a rap song. It wasn't as though she just was hurling the slur at something. She was singing along to a rap song. Misguided? Sure, but she's a child. She was 15 years old when it happened. Miss Groves had originally sent the video in which she looked into the camera and said, "I can drive," followed by the slur, to a friend on Snapchat in 2016, 4 years ago, when she was a freshman and had just gotten her learner's permit. It later circulated among some students at Heritage High School, which she and Mr. Galligan attended, but did not cause much of a stir. Mr. Galligan had not seen the video before receiving it last school year when he and Miss Groves were seniors. By then, she was a varsity cheer captain who had dreamed of attending the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, whose cheer team was the reigning national champion. When she made the team in May, her parents celebrated with a cake and orange balloons, the university's official color. The next month, as protests were sweeping the nation after the police killing of George Floyd, Miss Groves, in a public Instagram post, urged people to protest, donate, sign a petition, rally, do something in support of Black Lives Matter. You have the audacity to post this after saying the N-word, responded someone who Miss Groves did not know. Because remember, this video was taken years before, and she was singing along to a rap song, which the New York Times still has not reported. So what essentially happened, and I'll link this all in the description below, you can go read it. What essentially happened is that Jimmy here held on to that video from the time he got it, a year ago, whenever, to the time when Mimi was accepted into her dream school and going to be on the cheerleading team that she always wanted to be on. And he held it in his back pocket and released it in an effort to try to destroy her college prospects. Now, I don't think that where you go to school is the end of the world, but I'm also not an 18-year-old at this point. I have more life experience, and so I can pretty much attest, or assume rather, that for Mimi to have this video released, have it go to the admissions office at her school, have the school basically badger her into withdrawing, which is exactly what happened. She's not going to the school she wants to now, the one she got into, the one that she earned through years of work and effort. And the school basically bullied her in to withdrawing her to withdrawing from the school. They didn't force her out, but they basically did force her out. All because he released the video that he had been sitting on to purposefully release at the right moment where he could destroy someone's prospects. And the New York Times has just painted him as a hero for doing it, as someone to be admired and emulated and stunning and brave, Jimmy, stunning and brave. But the thing is that this isn't Jimmy's fault. It's not. He's a kid. He's a child. He's a child, just like she is. And when you're a teenager, this is the time when you're supposed to screw up. You're supposed to do stupid things. You're supposed to test your boundaries. And there are supposed to be adults there to tell you no. To tell you that it is not correct to hold on to a video for years. A video that was taken out of context. Hold on to it for years and then release it at just the right moment where you can destroy someone's life. But the reality is this. Jimmy is someone who obviously is looking to be an influencer of some sort. And I say that because I've looked at Jimmy's Instagram. I've looked at it, and to me, this shows someone who is looking for attention, wants to maybe be a model of some sort, wants to be an influencer, is definitely seeking attention and validation from social media. And guess what's just happened? The New York Times wrote this story, painted him as a hero, and he has probably gotten more attention from this one story that he has received at any other part in his life. And they've shown him how to get attention. They've shown him specifically how to get attention. He's going to do this again and again and again. He's going to find ways to do this to other people in his life. He is going to have people who want to be like him and who are probably going to do the same thing because the New York Times has just shown the world that he's stunning and brave for doing it. And this is the saddest thing in the world. This is the part of the whole woke nonsense cancel culture that I don't know how to fix this piece. I don't know how to fix this when we have a media that is constantly reinforcing to children who do not know better, that this is how you resolve your differences, that this is the right thing to do, that this is the heroic thing to do, that this will get you on the New York Times and get you praise and admiration and all this stuff at the expense of someone else and their life and their dreams and what they wanted to do. Like, I don't know much about cheerleading. Obviously, I was never a cheerleader, but I do know that it's a thankless sport and you don't get to do it for very long, and very few people make a career out of it. This is something she was going to go to college to do, to enjoy, to be on one of the top teams in the country, something she had earned, probably worked really, really hard for, and was taken away from her in an instant because adults didn't step in and say no. They didn't step in and say, okay, where is that video from? What were you doing? And how can we make this a life lesson so you don't do this again? A 15-year-old is singing along with a popular rap song and loses her college prospects years later because of it at the hands of another child because no adults would step in and say no. You know, earlier today I did a video about what happened at Bryn Mawr College when basically Bryn Mawr is like the new evergreen state. The students have taken over and are making demands of the administrators, and the administrators started off saying no. They started off saying, go back to class, we're not doing this with you, and then inevitably bent the knee and capitulated and are now have lists of the demands on their website where you can go and look at how they are meeting those demands instead of telling them no. What is going to happen when these kids get out into the real world? I mean, a lot of organizations are already starting to capitulate to this stuff. They're starting to do exactly the same thing. What happens when there are no adults in the room? What happens when there is no one saying to them, this is not how you resolve your differences. This is not the way adults behave. This is not the way that the world is supposed to work. And you don't gain anything by hurting other people. I don't know when I don't know exactly when we stopped believing that two wrongs don't make a right. Do I think that it was the brightest idea in the world for her to say a racial slur, even if it was part of a song that she was singing along to, even if it was only meant to be a private joke? No, but guess what? She was 15 years old. She was 15 years old. That's when you're supposed to make these mistakes. That's when someone should have said to her, honey, no, don't do that. Even in this scenario, when he released this video, there are how many adults with more life experience than these two combined did this video have to go through without anyone saying no? If we don't have that emergency brake somewhere where someone is willing to put their foot down and say, we're not going to basically destroy someone's college prospects because of something they did 3 years ago that, yes, was stupid, but we can have a conversation about why it was stupid and why it shouldn't happen again. The saddest part of the woke ideology is that there is literally no redemption. There is no path to redemption. And when you're talking about people making mistakes when they're children, I don't know how you reckon with that. I don't know how you fix that. If you guys have ideas, leave them in the comments, honestly, because this is part of the challenge of this addiction to cancel culture, this addiction, like what the New York Times and places like it are doing is propping these kids up for what they're doing, making them feel like this is how you gain status, this is how you gain prestige, this is how you gain fame. They aren't teaching them to be creators, they're teaching them to be destroyers. They're teaching them that the best way to be successful in life and to be a good person, because he thinks he's being a good person, because no one has taught him otherwise. He thinks he's being a good person. They're teaching them that this is how you do it. This has so many further reaching implications than who is the president. Like, who is the president is such a distraction in all of this. This right here, this is the bigger problem. And I don't know how we fix it. But I will say this, I don't think that canceling Jimmy in return is the way to fix it. I don't. Because he's a child. He's a child. And just like Mimi, he should get a stern talking to say, no, this is not how you do it. This is not acceptable behavior. This is not how you build a name and a brand. And it will never lead to a fulfilling experience. If this is how you're building your life, then you're going to destroy person after person after person for the slightest infraction and you're going to plot to do it. You're actually going to save up evidence. Who would want to be friends with this kid? Honestly, if everything is going to be saved up until the moment when it's going to cause the most possible damage, someone needs to tell him no. And someone needs to explain to him that you do not create a fulfilling life by destroying other people. That's not how you do it. So I think this is sad. I think it's sad that the New York Times did this story. I think it's sad that Mimi isn't going to get to go to the school she wants to go to be on the cheerleading team she wants to be on. I hope she lands somewhere. I've actually heard that other colleges are now offering her scholarships to go there, which I think is a really, really good thing, a positive move. And I feel sad for Jimmy because anytime someone Googles his name, this is what is going to come up. And he's already experiencing backlash on his social media sites. He's experiencing the type of harassment that, frankly, the article is saying brought him to the point of trying to destroy this girl's college prospects to begin with. He's now experiencing that in spades online. I have a little bit of experience with this. It's not fun. And I've got a hell of a lot thicker skin than an 18-year-old kid who obviously hasn't gotten enough positive attention anyway. And I hope that maybe he learns a lesson from this. Maybe he learns that trying to hurt other people is not a way to get ahead in life, but I strongly doubt that's going to be the case. I think that what's going to happen is he's going to dig his heels in. He's going to rebel against all of the criticism he's getting, all of the backlash that he's getting, and he's going to keep doing stuff like this over and over and over and over and over again. And that's sad. It's sad. And it's not his fault. It's the fault of the adults who should have told him no, including the people at the New York Times who thought it was okay to glorify the story. I don't know how we fix this. If you have some thoughts, I'd love to hear them. Leave a comment below. That's all I've got for right now. I'll see you soon.